What's going down, y'all? One half of the Wake Up Crew here to talk some WNBA prop bets over on PrizePicks. It is Sunday, May the 29th, 2022. Was off yesterday, but the picks, transparency, and accountability that we talked about the game before yesterday's games, 4 for 4. Clean sweep, nailed them all. Good job. Hope you guys tailed. Found some more plays that we like, sticking with the same philosophies and principles that we talked about on the last WNBA video. So we got a lot going on today. WNBA Game 7 in the NBA. Me and Jay Rich talked about those on the channel. Tap into that. And as always, let me know who you're playing in the comments below, but let's get into it. All right, so we talked about this the last time when we talked about fantasy score versus par, all those other things. And one of the things that I talked about is making sure that with the fantasy score, the players are starting out with a 5 or above before anything gets plugged into the system. So we've got those players, and we're going to touch on them right now. So Nneka Ogwumike from the LA Sparks, she's got a projected fantasy score of 6 before we plug in any of her points, rebounds, or assist numbers. And I like it for Nneka. I'm staying in the Nneka Ogwumike Flames. Over 32 fantasy score. She dropped 55 versus Indiana and then 37.7 versus Phoenix. Listen, she's averaging 36 in her last 5. And when I look at her numbers, right, her projection totals for tonight, we have Nneka projected for 36.2 fantasy score. It's about a 13.27% edge in this matchup. She's giving you about 33 minutes per game. I like it for her. So I'm going to stay in the Flames versus Minnesota. Both of these teams are bad, you guys. Both of these teams, I believe the Sparks are 3-6 and the Minnesota Lynx are 2-6, I believe. That's what these win total teams are. I know they're both sub 500 teams. So we're going with Nneka Ogwumike over 32 fantasy score. Want to talk about Sylvia Fowles, right? Again, over 5 in the fantasy score projection category before any points, rebounds, or assists come into the picture. She's averaging 38.4 over her last 5. Last outing, she had 37.8. And then before that versus Dallas, 44.8. We've got her projected for 39.9, so almost a 40-burger in the fantasy score category, getting about 35 minutes per game in this matchup. Her and Jessica Shepard should do work. I also like Ariel Powers, and we'll talk about her in a second. But Sylvia Fowles, the center for the Minnesota Lynx, over 35.5 fantasy score, locking that in. And her running mate, we talked about, I said the name just a second ago, Ariel Powers, over 10.5 points. Over her last 3, cruised past this number, and then May the 14th versus Chicago, she had 11. She's got the second highest edge on our WNBA projection model slate at 29.12. She's got it projected for 13.6 points in this matchup, getting about 28 minutes per game. I like it. If I'm taking the over on players, I want them right around that 30-minute mark. So it's a little risky because she's under that 30-minute threshold. So if you're like, I'm staying away, Ray, I wouldn't blame you. But the second highest edge, what good would a model be if I don't trust the data? And I will talk about the highest edge on the slate is Miss Cambage, Liz, over 12.5 points. I've gone to the Liz well quite a bit. She's been good to me. We do have a project for 16.5 points. It is the highest over edge on our WNBA projection model. I just don't want to do it. I'm not taking the under. It looks good in the model, right? What good is a model if you're not going to take the data that's presented to you? I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But again, what good is a model if you're not going to take it? So if you're going to mess with Liz tonight, take the over points at 12.5. She also looked good with her points, rebounds, and assists over 20.5. That's the third highest edge in the model. So let's just take a look at that really quickly for Liz Cambage right here. I think I like this better than the points. If I were going to take the over on Liz tonight, it would be the points, rebounds, and assists over 20.5. That's what I would do. Neither of them are a recommended core play, but I've got to trust the process, got to trust the model, so I'll probably roll with the par over 20.5. Brittany Sykes, she looks good in the model. She balled out last game. She's not a starter, but I mean, you're talking about fantasy score. She normally gets you there, right? And let's just look at Brittany's fantasy score real quick. Let's just talk a couple of these players. I like Brittany, right? 25.3 in the last game. I mean, she is averaging 26.4. What do we have her projected? Fantasy score tonight, we've got her projected for 26.8, which is top 10 in the prop versus projection edge. So I wouldn't mind this one as well to add to some mix and match stuff. But those are the plays that I'm rolling with. That's what we're talking about. I hope you like the picks. I hope the game before they were valuable for you. You were able to tail. And as always, if you do tail, give the sports book, give PrizePicks hell. And if we fail, don't bail. Let me know what you're playing below. Good luck and enjoy tonight. Peace.